Hello everyone and welcome. My name's Alexander, this is the Comfortable Car Club, and today we talk about SMEG. Once again, we continue our quest for it. So for those who are new to the channel, SMEG is the name of a type of head unit, of radio, for Peugeots and Citroens of the 2010s. And I'm going to install one in my car. So while this quest for SMEG progresses and I await the bits that are missing to be delivered to me to continue this project, I thought it'd be interesting to understand why I chose this particular unit and not one other of the various solutions available to me in this endeavour to replace the RT6/RNEG2 head unit. Now, if you are a Citroen C5 owner, not just a Citroen C5 owner, you could have perhaps, I don't know, a Citroen C3 or a DS3 or a Peugeot 308 or 3008 from way back when. This video can be useful to you if you are thinking of perhaps refreshing your head unit. Doesn't mean replacing it, bear that in mind, but basically improving your audio/telematics. So I'm going to give you some advantages and disadvantages, at least in my view, of each option. Now, I chose the SMEG unit. Why the SMEG unit? Why not one of the other ones? Well, there are various reasons, but the main one being the compatibility, the integration with the Citroen C5, with my car. So this will vary in accordance with whatever car you've chosen. But in my case, the SMEG unit actually came factory fitted on later C5s. So I know it's going to work, at least in principle. Actually, I know it's going to work full stop, because the actual SMEG unit that I chose, product number is the same as that fellow YouTuber and a fellow C5 YouTuber, Remis PSA, put into his car, and it worked. So I'm pretty confident it will work on mine as well. And I think we both have a Citroen C5 from 2010, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that's the thing. I know it's going to work, so it's less of a risk. I could buy some other version of the SMEG unit that probably had some kind of non-compatibility with the C5. There's that. Second, a factory-fitted unit is going to work better with the existing hardware, namely the steering wheel buttons. It was something that really annoyed me with the Android head unit that I put in a couple of years ago. I just find it to be so much better, easier for all the buttons to work properly without me having to worry about having to reprogram them or something along those lines. They work, full stop. I'm a happy bunny. And a third main reason, it might not seem like much, but I have the removal tools for the SMEG, so if I ever want to change it out, no big issue. It's the same removal tools that you use for the RT6/RNEG2, but nothing is perfect. Disadvantages of the SMEG unit is, first and foremost, it's a touchscreen. I really don't like touchscreens at all, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so adamant on having the steering wheel buttons work fully, because that will definitely reduce the amount of times I have to prod at a screen while in motion. I really do despise touchscreens, but I'm going to see it through. We'll see if the touchscreen is an absolute and utter piece of crap, or if you can actually work your way around it. Second, it's not the cheapest solution, if I can be completely honest with you. I paid €130 for the actual head unit, that box you've seen in the video already. I also paid €200 for the screen. That's on its way. And it also includes the cable, the LVDS cable, and the power cable. So I was happy paying a bit extra. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten an aftermarket cable. But if it's an original one, all the better. I also am going to have to pay for an external module because Android Auto doesn't come as standard. That's another disadvantage. A simple €40 add-on will make it wireless, so that's good. At least it has that advantage of being able to have Android Auto in that way. I think you get the idea. But anyway, it's just extra money I have to spend. And plus, by the way, and we're not done yet though, it's going to be even more expensive because I haven't been able to source the buttons for the volume on the center console, nor the bank of switches just behind the stalks for the ESP. And I haven't even been able to source the bit of trim, that little storage area where the radio, there's, you know, this radio buttons and such, where that goes. So Hopefully I'll find it one day. It's been an absolutely impossible task so far. So yeah, basically that's the SMEG. I'm going for it because it has all of these advantages. It's factory fitted originally, it's properly integrated with the car, and will help me avoid having to use the bloody touchscreen. Now another possibility was to install an NAC unit. NAC unit is basically an update of SMEG. It's a touchscreen, goes more or less in the same place with the same hardware that the SMEG unit goes, at least in terms of the bits you need. However, it's not that clear cut. First off, the advantages. It's more modern than SMEG, so according to certain testimonials, it's a lot quicker, works better, better computing power, etc. The screen has better resolution. It also has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wireless as standard. So that's a pretty good advantage, at least in relation to SMEG. However, we get to the disadvantages. It never came in a C5. I'd have to adapt it in various ways. First off, I'm not sure if the steering wheel controls work with the NAC unit. From what I gathered from a Russian video, it would seem that it's not possible. And the people in the comments were asking, how did you manage to program the buttons to work with the NAC unit? So there's that. And that's not even mentioning actual electronic compatibility. Do these things, does the BSI in the car talk to the NAC unit, or do I have to reprogram it? And that's a really big one. Another big disadvantage is that I don't think that the NAC screen will fit here, from what I can tell, unless there's a smaller 7-inch version. You have to make some kind of frame to fit it here. And I've seen it done, but it's not easy to come by. You have to make it yourself. I saw a Facebook page that was basically my journey modding my C5. I do apologize, I haven't got the name right, but I'll put it up on screen now so I don't do the author a disservice. But basically, he had to create a frame, and he doesn't make it available for people, which I completely understand. I respect his decision because, you put something out there in the world and people start copying it and stealing it and whatnot. My double cup holder has been downloaded and is being printed and distributed by some very cheeky Romanian entrepreneur. So I completely understand. However, if you simply aren't as resourceful as is necessary to make one of those frames, you are stuffed. There's really no way of getting around that. One final disadvantage is the price. From what I could tell, it was way more expensive than the SMEG unit. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, because I've seen so many prices, I do think you couldn't get the actual little box thing for less than 200 euros, and I saw screens going upwards of 300 euros, so good God. And that's not even mentioning any of the other buttons and things that had to go with it, so yeah, that's a big investment. That's the NAC unit, and you can probably tell why I didn't go for it, especially because of the disadvantages. Probably wouldn't even work in this car, at least not properly. Now, one very popular solution for nearly everyone who wants to replace the factory-fitted radio that came with their car is, of course, an Android head unit. And I actually had one in the car for some time. There are lots of videos on that. In fact, one of my most popular videos is the video where I installed the Android head unit in my car. Now, I also did a poll before I got the SMEG unit to ask what did people think would be the best option to replace my RT6/RNEG2. Android head units won out, at least the last time I looked, and that puzzled me to no end. Why? Why? I don't understand. Android head units have some advantages, but they also have some glaring disadvantages. So let's break it down. Advantages. By the way, I am wearing shorts because it's 34 degrees Celsius here in Southern Europe. Hence, I have to be a bit more scantily clad, which makes all the sense in the world. But anyway, I digress. Advantages. First off, you can get Android head units for, I think, nearly any car. You could probably get one for like a very fancy Rolls Royce or something like that, or even like a VW Beetle from 1952. I don't know. I'm guessing here, but it's just to illustrate the point that you can get Android head units of all shapes, sizes, etc. I can get one for this car that goes here, where this screen goes, and it can go behind the frame, 7-inch, etc., so it will look stock. Or I can get the one I got, which is a larger one and comes with a frame that you perch on the front. So you get a bigger screen. I didn't like that so much, but anyway, to each their own. You can get very cheap ones, By the way, the one I got wasn't the cheapest. It was the second cheapest, so I thought it had at least double the processing power of the cheapest one, but it was still very lackluster. But yeah, you can get a really cheap one for 100 odd euros like I did, or one that costs hundreds of euros, and it will be fast and glitzy and all of that stuff. So there is one for basically everyone. That's really good. Also, they're highly customizable because they're Android head units. You can install programs and features that probably don't exist in regular stock factory fitted radios. That's a huge advantage as well. And I believe there are more things, but well, yeah, I'm not really sure what they are. You tell me in the comments below. So as for the disadvantages, there are a couple. First off, don't forget they're not stock. They're aftermarket, they're third party, whatever you want to call it. They will have a degree of incompatibility with the car. In my case, I couldn't get the steering wheel buttons to function properly. It had a CAN bus, it came programmed. I don't know, maybe I should have researched more, I don't know. But I really was unhappy with the compatibility, with integration, whatever you want to call it, with the hardware of the car. I didn't like that. I also didn't like the fact that it was an absolute piece of crap when it came to the parking sensors. The RT6, for all its faults, one of the things that I really like about it is that the parking sensors are brilliant. There's a different sound if the obstacle is in front of the vehicle or to the rear. And also, the sound comes from the speaker closest to the corner where the obstacle is. The Android head unit had this really crappy speaker that you plugged into the back of the unit and left inside the dashboard. It was awful. It also kept asking me where the reversing camera was. Why wasn't it installed? There was like an icon. Very annoying. So I had absolutely no intention of installing a reversing camera. I really couldn't give a crap. Also, I'm not sure if the Android Auto is of, how should we put this, dubious origin there, me matey, if you get me drift. Har. Because the one I had in my car, it stopped working from one day to the next. It was absolutely awful. It was crap. And basically the seller told me to reinstall it, and I couldn't be bothered and actually ended up ripping it out and putting the old RT6 back. It was that crap. And of course, as I said earlier, you do get all sorts of prices for this, but if you don't have that much money and you want to get something cheaper, you're probably in for, you know, some really bad times. It's not going to be that good. So also, there was one thing also, the sound, the music sound was brilliant, above par, better than this, but the sound quality for phone calls was absolute arse. It was body water. People couldn't hear me properly, and I couldn't hear them properly. And in that respect, this is much better. It's got an integrated mic right up here, and it works beautifully. So that's the thing with factory fitted material. It's going to work a lot better given the environment where it's installed. So what about something a little bit more left field, shall we put it? And by the way, this is something that I actually thought of more than once of doing. And that's, instead of going all funky and colours and making it all modern, going back, going simple. Now what do I mean by that? My first C5, if you go back to watch the first videos, for example, on the interior, I don't have this screen. I've got just this smaller display that was monochrome, just orange and black. And I loved it. It was a great radio. It was the RD45. It replaced the RD4, the radio that came with the car, which was awful. It was just a CD, no Bluetooth. But the RD45 had Bluetooth. It showed the name of the artist, which I really enjoyed. And also the left stalk, the button on the left stalk, brought up voice activation. I was absolutely fine with that. That was its advantages. Its disadvantages is that, you know, no Android Auto integration. But then again, I was fine with using my phone for that. But once having tried Android Auto, things have changed. Another thing as well, it's incredibly rare now, this radio. I went looking for it on AliExpress where I originally bought it, and I can't find it. So perhaps it's a thing of the past and no one's interested in selling it. But yeah. In all honesty, if you want just radio with music and the bare minimum, it's a great solution because also you get some extra storage. However, another alternative, if you really want to go for something that's old in Citroens but's more fancy, there's the NG4. But in all honesty, I'm not really into that. I never was, because it's just so massive and old, and it also covers up the place where you could put some cup holders that you can buy from here. Just click on the link below. Now, there was one option that I wasn't aware of before I bought the SMEG unit. And it was basically a comment after I had bought it in a video that said, why don't you get the module that you plug into the back of the RT6/RNEG2? I'm going to call it the RT6 from now on for the sake of brevity, but you just plug it in and it confers Android Auto to the RT6. I hadn't heard of this, so I went and looked it up on AliExpress, and lo and behold, it does exist, and it seems like a very interesting solution indeed. So basically, it's what it says on the tin. It's like a module, a box you plug into the RT6. Don't forget the RT6 is not a touchscreen, so you have to use another interface, which is a scroll wheel. In the video, it's to the side of the center console, but if it were me, I'd probably put it here, because I don't really use this cubby that often. And it's great, so you'd be driving along like this, you know, ticky, 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 doing all sorts of things. I think that's brilliant. So yeah, those are the advantages. It's something that just plugs and plays into the existing hardware, and it's, I think, at least on paper, user-friendly with that scroll wheel thing. Probably be the same faff as plugging in actual addresses and such. That might be an issue. Another disadvantage is it's still a third-party / aftermarket thing. So how well it integrates is also up in the air. I mean, does it completely deactivate the RT6 behind it? Does your phone connect to the module or to the radio? You know, how does it behave every day, so to speak, when you turn off the key? Things like that. Small things. I know it does sound like me being a bit picky, but in all honesty, those are the things that in the end of the day really get on your nerves. But either way, I think it's a great solution. Oh, sorry. Before I forget, another disadvantage, I found it to be a bit pricey. 232 euros. The guy in the comments said it could go as low as 170, but in all honesty, I don't care. It's one of those things that really drives me up the wall, this dynamic pricing bollocks you get online these days. You're never sure if you're getting the best deal, because you think, oh, the price has gone down. You buy it, next day it's gone down even further. It's just absolutely, it really gets, and it's super annoying. So anyway, that's a definite solution. If I ever decide, for example, to switch cars, well, in all honesty, if you're new to the channel, I might buy a DS3 one day and switch this for that, unless I get very rich, in which case I'll have both. But let's say I do get rich and have both, and the DS3 comes with an RT6. That's a very good solution. That's something that I could really get on board with. To at least try, like the Android head unit, even though it's expensive. But then again, if I have money for two cars, I'll have money for an Android head unit. Well, an external unit. You get the idea. Sorry. I'm blathering now. But yeah, that would be a definite option. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have, especially if you have experience with that, I really would like to know. So hopefully I haven't left out any glaring advantages or disadvantages. Those are my thoughts. That's why I think that the SMEG unit is the best unit for me right now. Who knows, might change in the future. But also I'd like to know what you think. Tell me in the comments below. What would you choose? What do you think is the best? If I'm making a terrible mistake, I'm sure someone's going to point it out to me. But anyway, there we are. That's my conclusion. Hopefully this is helpful. As I believe I've already mentioned, it's not just for C5 owners. This is something that is applicable for anyone with a PSA vehicle with this kind of radio. Hopefully it'll be useful for you too. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please like, please share, please subscribe. But as I've already mentioned, please comment. On screen now some more videos that you can watch. And they're very entertaining, honest to God, they're brilliant. So click to see them, and thank you very much for watching. There's more clickable stuff below. I hope to see you all in a future video. I bid you all farewell.